to get my back blown out in peace. You think I got time to talk about a divorce that's a year old?
Aaron's ex just leaked voice notes, and the internet is not having it. Out of nowhere, a storm hit the internet like lightning when a private recording ended up going public. In the now viral clip, you can hear her call their past relationship a mistake, and that's just the beginning. Fans weren't just shocked, they were angry. Within minutes, the recording sparked arguments, memes, and speculation about what really happened behind closed doors. People aren't just questioning her motives, they are wondering how this leak will affect Aaron's current life with Tiana. Was this bitterness, revenge, or a cry for help? Whatever it was, it's now everyone's business, and no one is staying quiet. The voice note wasn't posted on a public page. It wasn't even part of a big tell-all. It was shared late at night, quietly, in what was supposed to be a close friend's Instagram story. But as everyone knows, nothing posted on social media stays private for long. Someone's screen recorded it fast, and once it hit Twitter, there was no going back. In the clip, Aaron's ex can be heard saying in a slow, tired voice, "I should have never wasted time on him." Then she says something even more intense. "You ever look back and realize the real mistake wasn't what he did, it's that you stayed?" The words cut like a knife. Not because they were loud, but because they sounded honest. Bitter, yes, but deeply personal. Her tone was emotional, like someone reliving pain they thought they had buried. And even though she didn't say his name, everyone knew exactly who she was talking about. Within minutes, the clip made its way to Reddit, IG blogs, Twitter feeds, and all hell broke loose. Twitter exploded. People didn't wait for context, and they didn't hold back. One user tweeted, "Why now? Why speak when he's finally moved on? This is giving desperate." That tweet alone had over 200,000 likes within 2 hours. Another person said, "He's doing fine. She's mad because he's happy without her." Some fans even started dragging her character entirely, calling her bitter, embarrassing, toxic, and full of jealousy. Memes flooded in fast. Someone posted a screenshot of the voice note over the caption, "This could have stayed in your drafts, sis." Hashtags like #AaronExposed, #VoiceNoteMess, and #clout-chaser trended all night. While a few people showed sympathy, the overwhelming response was brutal. The internet had picked a side, and it wasn't hers. Even though Tiana had absolutely nothing to do with the leak, she was pulled into the drama within minutes. That's how the internet works. One viral tweet read, "She's not mad at Aaron. She's mad he leveled up with Tiana." That single tweet opened a new wave of discussion. Was this voice note secretly about Tiana, not Aaron? Some users began speculating that the clip wasn't just a vent session, it was a calculated shot. Something designed to disrupt whatever peace Aaron and Tiana had managed to find. A few fans begged Tiana to ignore it, to not feed the flames, and to stay above the drama. Others worried this was going to drag her emotionally back into a chapter she had closed. Either way, she's back at the center of a storm she didn't cause. And people are watching closely to see if she'll say anything, or stay silent. Meanwhile, Aaron has said absolutely nothing. His last Instagram story was posted hours before the leak, and since then, radio silence. No comments, no likes, no quotes. And in that silence, people started to read between the lines. Some fans praised him, saying he was keeping it classy and not lowering himself to respond to someone trying to stir drama. Others saw it differently. One fan wrote, "She called him a mistake, and he's treating her like a ghost." The silence, in their eyes, wasn't noble, it was cold. But whether you see it as maturity or avoidance, one thing is clear. Aaron isn't rushing to explain or defend himself. Still, some fans are nervous. If this was just the first clip, could more be coming? Theories began flooding in the moment the voice note leaked, each one more intense, more layered, and more dramatic than the last. Fans dove headfirst into speculation, dissecting every second of the audio like it was a puzzle that needed solving. Some genuinely believe it was all a mistake, that maybe Aaron's ex had recorded the voice note during a vulnerable moment, intended it only for her close friends, and somehow it accidentally escaped the confines of a private story. To them, it was a sad, human error, an emotional outburst that spiraled far beyond what she ever intended. A lapse in judgment during heartbreak. But not everyone's convinced. In fact, many people are flat out calling it calculated. There's a strong faction of fans who believe she knew exactly what she was doing. That the timing, the tone, even the way it was posted, were all carefully considered. That the close friends setting was used as bait, designed to look private but set up to be leaked by someone she trusted just enough to do the dirty work for her. According to this theory, the leak wasn't a breach of trust. It was the plan all along. Maybe she didn't hit post herself, but she lit the match and left it in the hands of someone she knew couldn't resist the drama. And it doesn't stop there. Some fans have gone deeper into conspiracy territory, convinced that someone from her inner circle leaked the note intentionally, not just to stir up gossip, but to actively harm Aaron's image now that he's involved with someone more famous. These theories argue that jealousy, resentment, or even opportunism might be behind the scenes. One popular take online claims this was a strategic move to gain clout and attention during a moment when eyes are on Aaron again, not because of a scandal but because of his relationship. In other words, the voice note wasn't just about heartbreak, it was about relevance. Then came the darkest corner of the internet's imagination. The idea that this whole mess wasn't even about Aaron in the first place. That he was just the tool, and the real target was Tiana. Some fans believe the voice note was a weapon pointed directly at her, a subtle way of making her look like the homewrecker, or the reason someone else is still in pain. Maybe it wasn't just a bitter ex lashing out at a former lover. Maybe it was a deeper, more strategic form of sabotage aimed at tearing down a woman who's finally getting back on her feet, building a new chapter, and, for once, doing it on her own terms. If that's true, the narrative gets even darker. This wasn't a story of heartbreak. It was a campaign of jealousy, masked as vulnerability. But regardless of what theory people believe, the impact was the same. A deeply personal voice note was dropped like a bomb on the internet. A few emotional sentences, shared in a moment of pain, suddenly became public property. The internet swarmed. Screenshots were shared. Reaction videos went up within the hour. Every word was picked apart, quoted, reinterpreted. And then came the second part of the voice note, the one that really shifted the mood. It was slower, quieter, and yet somehow even more emotional. In it, she said, "Sometimes you forgive people just to forget yourself." That line hit people in the gut. Even those who had no sympathy earlier suddenly paused. It didn't sound like manipulation anymore. It sounded like someone grieving. Like someone lost in the wreckage of something that once mattered. The internet's response split again. Some users posted, "She's not trying to be toxic. She's just in pain. You can hear it in her voice." Others weren't as forgiving. One comment went viral for saying, "Being hurt doesn't give you the right to hurt others. That's not forgiveness. That's revenge disguised as heartbreak." And that's where the tone of the conversation changed. People started to admit something complicated. They related to her words, but not her method. Many said they understood the feeling of forgiving someone while losing themselves in the process. They'd lived it. But they didn't condone making that grief public, especially in a way that could hurt someone else or drag more people into the fallout. A wave of empathy met a wall of accountability. The verdict? Her pain might be real, but the way she chose to share it left people divided. What emerged, then, wasn't just drama. It was a larger reflection of what happens when private emotions become public entertainment. This situation isn't new. We've seen it before. An ex speaks out after someone moves on, and suddenly the focus shifts. The new relationship is no longer just about new love, it's now tangled in old pain. But what made this moment hit so hard was how it unfolded. The voice note didn't come through an interview. It wasn't a long-form podcast or a press release. It was raw, almost too intimate. It felt like eavesdropping on someone's lowest moment. That kind of vulnerability, broadcast like a secret on a loudspeaker, left a mess in its wake. Instead of creating clarity, the voice note fueled confusion. Instead of offering closure, it created chaos. It didn't feel like someone processing heartbreak. It felt like someone trying to be heard, desperately, but through the wrong channel. And the consequences were immediate. Aaron's name trended, but not for a project, a performance, or a personal win. He trended because of old scars, because of the past. And as for Tiana, she got dragged into a storyline she never asked to be part of. Once again, someone else's unresolved pain spilled into her space, staining her narrative, pulling her into a mess she didn't start. And for so many women watching from the sidelines, it felt all too familiar. Being held responsible for someone else's hurt, being dragged through the mud because someone else refused to heal quietly. Tiana didn't say a word, but her silence became louder than the voice note itself. It was dignity in the face of noise. But it didn't stop the speculation, the think pieces, the clips circulating on every platform. The voice note, no matter what the intention behind it was, became a spectacle. A deeply human moment turned into digital fuel for the content machine. And the people at the center? They are left cleaning up emotional debris, while the rest of the world decides who to blame, who to pity, and who to cancel. Once again, a private emotion became a public event. And no matter how real the feelings behind it were, the damage it caused is now irreversible. This leak didn't just stir drama, it triggered deep reactions in fans who've watched Aaron grow, struggle, and try to move on from the past. People had seen him evolve from someone healing into someone seemingly happy. And now, one voice note has thrown all that into question. Was he a mistake? Did he cause pain we didn't know about? Or is this just someone's lingering hurt turning into blame? And Tiana, who's remained strong and silent throughout. How does this affect her emotionally, seeing her man's name dragged into the mud by someone who's no longer part of their world? These are the questions everyone's asking. And no one has the answers yet. Do you think Aaron's ex was out of line? Or was this her raw moment to speak her truth? Do you think she's still hurt over Aaron? Or was this really about Tiana? What do you think pushed her to finally post that voice note after all this time? Was it a private vent that went wrong? Or a calculated move to shake things up? Drop your unfiltered thoughts in the comments. This one's got everyone divided. And hit that like button if you believe real healing happens off social media, not on Instagram stories. Subscribe for more raw, uncut celebrity drama you won't hear anywhere else. Because the truth always leaks, one voice note at a time.